Good morning, students. So let us discuss the authentication chapter, which is the second chapter in the third module. So what is authentication, students? Authentication is a process in which a principal proves that he or she or it is the entity it claims to be. Students, it is nothing but it is a simple process in which the user claims that he is the right person to access a particular service. Okay, so he is just nothing, just proving the originality, his originality. Okay, so that is called as the authentication process. So two terminologies are here, that is principal and the verification. Okay, so the principal is nothing but the client in this case. Or he can be a human computer, or he can be any other application, or he can be a robot also. The verifier is nothing but the basically a server. Okay, so obviously the server, this the principal has to, that is the principal has to basically get verified by the verifier, that is a server. Okay, it's as simple as that. So basically in authentication, students, there are various ways of authenticating things. So one is one way authentication, next one is mutual authentication. So let us discuss about the one way authentication in our discussion. So in one way authentication, basically there are two types, that is password based authentication and certificate based authentication. So before starting these, let us understand what is one way authentication. So let us just read the definition. The in-client server communications over a campus network. For example, it is often the case that the client authenticates itself to the servers. The server may or may not be authenticated to the client. So this is referred to as one-way authentication. So students, as we have already read it, okay, so we have seen in most of the cases the client himself, he is getting authenticated to the server. He himself has to tell who he is to the server, and he also has to tell that he is the right person to access the particular feature from the server. So the authentication is happening of the client from the server end. Okay, so that is not happening vice versa. So that this kind of authentication is called as one way authentication. So basically it is categorized into two ways, password and the certificate based. So let us understand the password based. So students, we all know that what is password based authentication. So we will have a login form. Okay, we will have a login thing where the client will put his user ID, so his ID, okay, and the password, his password. So we all know that the ID and the passwords are, ID and its respective passwords are stored in the server. So students, let us understand the password based authentication via a diagram. So as you can see in the figure A here, login is the Alka name, Alka is the login name, and PW is nothing but the password, her respective password, and C is the client and S is the server. And we can see that server stores the login name and the respective password. For example, for Aarti, it has stored a password BXT, like that. So by this, server will be able to authenticate the respective client. But there is a problem here, students. One is that attacker in between, he can easily obtain the password. So in order to make the life of the attacker difficult, or to make the life of the client more secure, we are computing the hash of the password, which can be seen in this diagram. Okay, where here nothing but h is nothing but hash function of the password, and it respectively calculates the hash of the password, and the hash of the password is stored in the server's database. Okay, so this is one of the ways, okay, to secure our data. So students, this is one way. Okay, this calculation of hash is nothing but it is a one way. Okay, so students, let us go forward. So as we can see here, the one way property of the cryptographic hash helps prevent an attacker from deducing user passwords. So this is what we have discussed just now. But students, an attacker could snoop on the communications between Alka and the server, and it can obtain the hash of the password. So students, it can obtain the hash of the password, but it is not as easy as obtaining direct password, but it can, by snooping, it can obtain the hash of the password. And later on students, it can play as an imposter to the server. Okay, so it can that becoming an imposter and later on showing it as a client. So that is called as a replay attacker. That is called as a replay attack. That is nothing but, instead of client, the attacker is sending a message to the server. Okay, so the attacker may be, say attacker may be Aarti, attacker may be Adarsh, like that. Okay, so it can be a imposter for any of these login names. Okay, so that is called as a replay attack. So to avoid this or to prevent this students, there is one protocol. That protocol is called as the challenge response protocol. Okay, so let us understand what happens in this challenge response protocol. So here students, the server, okay, the server is nothing but, it will provide a fresh challenge to the client. So students, here the client need not send a password directly to the server. Instead of that, it has to prove that it knows the password. Okay, by that it will be able to verify, it means which one, server will verify whether the client is genuine or not. So that is called as, that is main thing what happens in the challenge response protocol. So let us understand it via some few diagrams. So we can see here students the sequence of operations. Okay, so we can see here A and B, where A is the client and B is the server, and 1 2 3 these are the messages, these are the communication which is happening between the client and the server. So let us see step by step how this works, how this process works. So the first message students, A is telling to B that A, it is the A who is communicating with the B. So it is nothing but telling its identity to the B, which is the server. Whereas in the second message, a server, in response to that, it gives a challenge. It gives a challenge. So that challenge is nothing but a random number students. Okay, and that random number, it has a name that is called as knowns. Okay, so what is knowns? It's basically a random number, and that is a challenge which the B gives. So A has to basically students, it has to respond to that challenge. So how does it respond? It responds to the server by computing the function of the challenge and the password. Okay, so that is what happens here. That is one way students. Okay, so students, we know that the third message, that is the function of the password and the knowns, it has the following properties. Okay, so they have taken the password as X parameter and the R. Okay, that is nothing but the knowns number as the Y parameter. Okay, so since it is one way students, so knowing a function of password and knowns, it is difficult or it is infeasible to compute the password. So given an R, which is the knowns, it is infeasible to compute the function of password and R, even if we know the R1, R2 and R3. This should be R2. Function of password comma R1, function of password comma R2, function of password comma R3. So here an obvious choice for the function is the cryptographic hash, as we can see in the next diagram. Okay, so what is this cryptographic hash? This is nothing cryptographic hash. This cryptographic hash is nothing but the concatenation of the password and the knowns. So we can see here. Okay, H is nothing but the concatenation of the password and the knowns. which is R. So another choice is nothing but a secret key encryption function, okay, with the password. I mean, another choice is nothing but it is the function with the where password is used as a key for encryption of random number R. So this also we can see in the third diagram. Basically it is encrypting the nonce. It is encrypting the nonce with the help of a password, okay, and the client has to basically decrypt and send the nonce back, and both should match. That is the nonce sent by server in the second step or the second message, and the nonce obtained in the third stage. Both should match. So if both things are matching, both R's are matching here, that is in the second and third stage, that means we can be sure that replay attack is not happening here. So this is all we have to understand in the challenge response protocol. So students, in short, nothing but what is happening here is nothing but the A, okay, A is sending its identity to the B, okay, that it wants to connect with the server. So B sends an R, which is nothing but a nonce. So then using various ways, basically it has to A has to basically find the function of password and R. So these both R's with, that is in the step 2 and step 3 must match. So that tells that, or that proves that the nonce which is sent is fresh, and in another words we can tell that B is basically communicating with the right client. Next one is certificate based authentication. In certificate based authentication, students, a client does not share a secret with the server, but instead of sending a secret, it sends a public key certificate. So that we can see in the first step. So in response to that, B will check the certain things in the certificate. So what B verifies in certificate? It verifies the validity period and the name of the principal. So along with the validity period and name of the principal, which is nothing but who has sent the certificate, B also verifies the signature on the certificate. So if everything is fine, then it sends the its nonce to the client, as we can see in the second step. Okay, so what is this sending a nonce? That is nothing but sending a challenge. So how does he respond? That is the client. He responds by encrypting the challenge with his private key. So when the server receives the private key, he has to decrypt it, first thing, okay, and both nonce, the nonce sent in step 2 and the nonce received in step 3 should match. So this is all happens. So there, instead of password like we studied in the previous case, here certificate is being sent. Okay, so that is what happens in certificate based authentication. So next we see in the next diagram is a slight variation of this protocol, and here B chooses a nonce and it encrypts using A's public key and creates a challenge. So what is A's work? A has to decrypt it and send it back to the B. Okay, so when the authentication succeeds only if both the nonce matches. That is, the encrypted nonce sent by B and the decrypted one from the A, both matches. Okay, both nonce matches. So this is all we have. Basically students understood or wanted in certificate based authentication and the password based authentication. So next is students mutual authentication. Okay, So here students, in one-way authentication, basically the server was authenticating the things. It was only happening from one side. Okay. Whereas in mutual authentication, both has to authenticate themselves. They both has to authenticate themselves. So in mutual authentication we have three types, that is shared secret based authentication, asymmetric based authentication, authentication and key agreement. So let us understand these three in our next video. Thank you students.